You're not trapped in the matrix. You're just tuned into it. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you recycle, every habit you run on autopilot keeps you locked in the same loop. But deep inside your brain, there's a hidden switch, a tiny organ called the pineal gland. Ancient traditions called it the third eye. Modern science calls it a portal. And when you learn how to activate it, you don't just break free from your programming. You access a field beyond time, fear, and limitation. In this video, you'll learn how the pineal gland works, how to unlock its full power, and how to use it to escape the illusion and become truly free. The Matrix isn't a machine world, it's a mind world. And most people live in it without ever realizing it. In Becoming Supernatural, Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that the Matrix is the predictable life we unconsciously recreate, over and over again, through thought, emotion, and habit. We wake up and immediately remember who we are, our name, our problems, our job, our past. These memories trigger the same thoughts. The same thoughts trigger the same emotions. And the same emotions produce the same behaviors. This cycle turns the brain into a record of the past, and the body into a mind of its own. The Matrix is the trap of living in survival mode. When you're stressed, anxious, reactive, or addicted to drama, your brain shifts into high beta wave states. This narrows your focus to the material world. You become obsessed with control, outcome, and threat. You stop imagining. You stop dreaming. You stop creating. Your energy is no longer flowing toward possibility. It's locked in repetition. And your biology reflects this. As Dispenza explains, over time, we become chemically addicted to familiar emotions, guilt, anger, shame, fear. These emotions become our identity. We're not just feeling stressed, we become the person who is stressed. And the body begins to crave those chemicals, just like a drug. That's how the Matrix sustains itself. It convinces you that you are your emotions. It tells you that your past is your destiny. And because you keep waking up and thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, and doing the same things, you keep creating the same life. That's not fate. That's neurochemistry. Dispenza calls this the known self, living in the known environment, expecting the known future. It feels safe, familiar. But it's a trap. True change, he says, only begins when you break this loop, when you stop firing the same neural pathways, when you interrupt the emotional addictions, when you become conscious of your unconscious programs. But here's the twist. You can't think your way out. You have to feel your way out. And that's where the pineal gland comes in. Because this tiny organ isn't ruled by survival. It's ruled by creation. And it doesn't respond to stress. It responds to energy. When you activate it, you begin to shift from the known to the unknown, from matter to energy, from the matrix to the quantum field. But first, you have to understand what this mysterious organ actually is, and why it's been hidden in plain sight all along. Hidden deep in the center of your brain is an organ no bigger than a grain of rice. It doesn't think. It doesn't speak. But when activated, it can change everything. The pineal gland, what ancient cultures called the third eye, has long been a symbol of spiritual awakening, divine insight, and cosmic perception. In Becoming Supernatural, Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it the brain's gateway to the quantum field, and he means it literally. Biologically, the pineal gland sits in a strategic location, between the two hemispheres of the brain, nestled in the epithalamus and surrounded by cerebrospinal fluid. It's sensitive to light, rhythm, and frequency. And most importantly, it's made of crystals. That's not a metaphor. Inside the pineal gland are tiny calcite crystals that exhibit piezoelectric properties. That means when these crystals are compressed or stimulated, they generate an electrical charge. This allows the pineal gland to function like a transducer, converting energetic signals from the quantum field into biological information the brain can understand. Think of it as a mystical antenna. Just like a radio picks up invisible frequencies and turns them into sound, your pineal gland can pick up non-local energy, vibrations from beyond time and space, and translate them into inner vision, intuition, and knowing. This isn't just spiritual poetry, it's measurable. Research has shown that the pineal gland has optical tissue, similar to the retina in your eyes. In other words, it's capable of seeing light. Not just external light, but internal light, the kind produced during deep meditation or heightened energetic states. That's why so many ancient traditions spoke of seeing with the inner eye, or opening the third eye to access divine knowledge. It wasn't superstition. It was neurobiology. And here's where things get even more fascinating. According to Dispenza, the pineal gland produces melatonin, a hormone we usually associate with sleep. But under the right conditions, that melatonin can be transformed into even more powerful compounds. Benzodiazepines that calm the body, penylines that enhance vivid dreaming, and even DMT-like molecules, the same chemical responsible for mystical visions in shamanic ceremonies. This means the pineal gland is like your body's own internal pharmacy, able to induce altered states of consciousness, not with external substances, but through focused breath, energy, and intention. When activated, it unlocks a world beyond the five senses, a place where you stop reacting to reality and start creating it, a place where information comes not through logic, but through resonance, a place where the laws of space and time begin to bend. But how exactly do you activate this mysterious organ? And how can you learn to control the process safely and intentionally? That's what we'll explore next. You don't need psychedelics to activate your pineal gland. You need pressure, intention, and breath. Dr. Joe Dispenza discovered that the pineal gland can be awakened using a specific set of techniques that blend ancient wisdom with modern neuroscience. The core method involves what he calls the breath squeeze. It's not just breathing deeply. It is a biomechanical and energetic maneuver designed to generate pressure in the brain and pull energy up the spine. Here's how it works. First, you sit with your spine straight, eyes closed, and awareness focused. Then, as you inhale slowly through your nose, you simultaneously contract the muscles in your perineum, lower abdomen, and solar plexus, what Dispenza calls the core lock. You hold your breath and keep squeezing upward, as if trying to push energy through your spine and into your brain. This action creates hydraulic pressure in the cerebrospinal fluid. It literally pumps the fluid upward along the spinal column. When it reaches the brain, it stimulates the pineal gland. And here's where it gets fascinating. Remember those calcite crystals in the gland? When compressed by this pressure, they generate a piezoelectric charge, an electrical signal that activates the gland and causes it to become electrically polarized. The gland begins to vibrate. This vibration draws energy from the surrounding field. At the same time, melatonin levels spike in the brain, especially if you're doing this practice in low light or early morning hours. But instead of making you sleepy, something else happens. The elevated energy state and internal pressure cause melatonin to become chemically altered. It's converted into more exotic molecules, such as penylline, harmine, and potentially even DMT. These substances can produce vivid inner imagery, sensations of time distortion, and an overwhelming sense of connection to something larger than yourself. And it's all happening inside your own brain, without any external substances. Dispenza's research has even shown that during pineal activations, the brain enters high-frequency gamma wave states. These are the same frequencies associated with peak mystical experiences, deep love, and expanded consciousness. In this state, the heart and brain become coherent, aligned in rhythm, creating a powerful electromagnetic field that interacts with the quantum field. This is what Dispenza calls tuning into new potentials. Your body becomes the instrument, your breath is the amplifier, and your pineal gland is the antenna. The process isn't always dramatic at first. Sometimes it's subtle, like a rush of energy up the spine, a flash of light behind your eyes, or a sudden feeling of stillness. But the more you practice, the stronger the effects become. Over time, you train your body to be less addicted to survival and more aligned with creation. You begin to access deeper intuition, clearer guidance, and a direct line to the field where all possibilities exist. In short, you start to leave the matrix behind, not by escaping the world, but by upgrading your connection to it. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. When the pineal gland activates, the illusion begins to fall apart. You're no longer just a body reacting to the outside world. You become a consciousness interacting with the invisible field that shapes reality. This is where you start escaping the matrix, not by running from it, but by rising above it. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, the key to this shift is moving from beta brainwaves, fast, chaotic, analytical patterns linked to stress, into slower, more harmonious states like alpha, theta, and ultimately gamma. In these elevated states, the brain becomes coherent, the heart becomes coherent, and together, they create a field that's measurable and magnetic. You're no longer broadcasting the same old emotional signature of fear, guilt, or frustration. Instead, you begin to radiate elevated emotions: gratitude, joy, love, awe. These emotions act like energetic keys that unlock the door to the quantum field, a realm where time dissolves, separation vanishes, and all potential futures exist as waves of possibility. When your heart and brain align in this way, the body stops living in survival mode. The chemistry of stress begins to reverse. Your immune system strengthens, your energy rises, and your awareness expands. But the real magic begins when you focus on a new future, an intention, while embodying the elevated emotions of already having it. That's the formula: clear intention plus elevated emotion. It's not about wishing or forcing. It's about aligning your internal state with the frequency of the reality you want to experience. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And as Dispenza puts it, when you tune into this new frequency, the quantum field begins to organize itself around your signal. That's when synchronicities start to appear. Unexplained opportunities, intuitive guidance, instant clarity. Some people in his workshops have experienced spontaneous remissions of disease. Others report moments of time distortion, out-of-body travel, or communication with higher intelligence. These aren't fantasies. They're measurable experiences that correlate with specific brainwave changes, energy field shifts, and heart coherence patterns. In this state, the pineal gland doesn't just respond to the field, it translates it. You begin to receive information in flashes, visions, or knowing. It feels like remembering something you never learned, like hearing a truth that doesn't come in words. The boundaries of your old identity begin to fade. You stop identifying with your name, your story, your limits. You become the awareness observing it all, and that's the true escape. The matrix isn't something you run from, it's something you outgrow. And as you learn to live in coherence, create with intention, and trust your inner connection to the field, you start to experience life not as a reaction, but as a revelation. But how do you turn this into a daily practice? How do you keep that connection alive, even after the meditation ends? That's what we'll explore next. You don't need to attend a retreat or disappear into a monastery to activate your pineal gland. You just need consistency, presence, and the right practice. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, this can become part of your daily life, just like brushing your teeth or charging your phone. Except this charges you. Here's how to begin. First, Create a sacred space. This doesn't have to be elaborate, just a quiet environment where you won't be interrupted. Dim the lights or do it early in the morning before sunrise. This helps raise melatonin levels and primes your pineal gland. Sit with your spine straight. Relax your body. Close your eyes. Begin with slow, conscious breathing. Bring your awareness to your heart. Feel gratitude, not just think it. This step aligns your emotional state and starts to bring coherence between your heart and brain. Then, shift to the breath technique. Inhale slowly through your nose while gently squeezing the core muscles, the perineum, lower abdomen, and solar plexus. Imagine pulling energy up your spine as you breathe. Hold the breath at the top. Keep squeezing. Focus that upward pressure as if you're pushing cerebrospinal fluid toward the center of your brain. This activates the pineal gland through mechanical stimulation, generating the piezoelectric charge we discussed earlier. As you hold your breath and focus attention at the top of the head, specifically the center of the brain, visualize light expanding, or imagine tuning into a frequency beyond thought. Then exhale slowly and relax. Repeat this process for several cycles. After a few minutes, drop into stillness. Let go of doing. Let go of trying. Rest in pure awareness. This is where many people begin to feel the shift. You may sense a vibration in your head, a subtle pressure, tingling, or light. You might experience vivid visuals or even lose track of time. These are all signs that your pineal gland is awakening and that your brain is shifting into a higher frequency state. Dispenza recommends practicing this daily, especially when you wake up or before bed. But even 5 minutes a day can begin to retrain your body and mind. What matters most is emotional quality. Elevated emotions like love, joy, gratitude, inspiration are the fuel. Intention is the compass. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you start to feel different during the day. Lighter, more centered, less reactive. You begin to notice synchronicities, little clues from the universe that you're in alignment. Ideas flow more easily. You feel connected, even when life gets chaotic. And over time, your body becomes so familiar with this elevated state that it no longer needs the past to feel safe. You've reconditioned it to a new future. And that's the real miracle. Not floating in space or seeing visions, though those might come, but being fully present, awake, and free, no longer trapped in survival, no longer chained to the known. You've escaped the matrix, and it all began with one breath. Escaping the matrix isn't about leaving the world, it's about waking up inside it. The pineal gland is your ancient inner technology, waiting to be activated. Not to show you something new, but to help you remember what you've always known. You are more than flesh and thought. You are energy, awareness, creator. And the moment you stop reacting to the past and start tuning into a new future, you break the loop. You stop surviving and start evolving. You don't need a red pill. You don't need to wait. You already have the key. It's inside your breath, your heart, and the sacred space behind your eyes. The matrix doesn't end with a revolution. It ends with a realization. And the moment you open your inner eye, you're already free. If something awakened in you, even a glimpse, drop a comment below and share what you felt. And if you're ready for more, subscribe to Codex of Amenti. This journey is just beginning.